Crowdfunding, the idea of fundraising small amounts of money from lots of people for a common cause. It's a relatively new idea that's taken hold in recent years.
Yeah, from the entertainment we listen to the products and services we want to buy. It's a financial model that's grown massively.
Well, in our region, a campaign by a Cambridge firm to remake an old 1980s computer game raised £1.7 million, while a Paralympic swimmer's bid to keep training also made the most of this new kind of people power.
Well, now the National Museum of Computing is getting in on the act with a campaign to help find a new home for Alan Turing's history-making bomb machine at Bletchley Park. And our reporter Graham Stothard is live at the home of code breaking shortly. But first, here's his report on why moving a giant problem solver is a puzzle in itself.
It was machines like this that helped end the war early, saving countless lives. Now, one of them needs a little help itself. This one's a replica of Colossus, a computer invented to break enemy code. It's in the National Museum of Computing at Bletchley Park. Now its older brother, the Turing Welshman bomb, another codebreaker, wants to move in next door. But projects like this aren't cheap, which is why they're turning to us.
If we're successful with our fundraising and raise the full 50,000, we're looking to move the bomb in by the 1st of April, maybe the 1st of May. But we already have our plans in place as to how we're going to lift it, move it, bring it up here, install it into a brand new gallery, which is what the money is being used for, in order that it's open to the general public to see as often as they want.
I'm designing a machine that will allow us to break every message, every day, instantly.
Brought to public awareness most recently in the 2014 blockbuster The Imitation Game, the bomb was invented by Alan Turing and fine-tuned by Gordon Welshman. It deciphered the Enigma code used by our World War II enemies. Alongside other code-breaking machines, it's credited with ending the war years early.
This is how Russia battered open the door of Berlin in the last weeks of April.
Today, to move a replica codebreaker is a bit of a puzzle itself.
It weighs about 3 or 4 tons. It's 7 foot long, 8 foot high, maybe, 3 foot wide. It's extremely difficult to move. It's very delicate. It will be put onto a sledge and lifted by crane and transported up here to the National Museum of Computing.
It is a mercifully short trip. At the moment, it's located just a few hundred metres away at the Bletchley Park Trust. That's not to say it won't be a lot of work, with the area it'll be kept in having to be completely modified. First of all, this room will be completely emptied. All of these machines you see relocated. Then the ceiling will come off and that back wall completely removed. Also, the bomb can get in here. And that's where it'll be kept. Once Britain's most closely guarded secret, now on display for anyone to see.
Well, Graham's at Bletchley Park still for us this evening. And Graham, if the bomb does make its target, then it's going to be in very good company, I gather.
Oh, absolutely. There are hundreds of devices here, stretching over the past few decades. Of course, all the old computers completely unrecognisable from the gadgets and devices that just fit neatly into the palm of our hand today. This one here is the Heath Robinson machine. It's actually a precursor to the codebreakers that we've just been introduced to. It's actually not a computer at all. It's an electromechanical device similar to the Turing Welshman bomb. And as I said, if that crowdfunding campaign is successful, it'll move from a couple of hundred yards that way here to the National Museum of Computing to join all of its descendants. And of course, its oh so slightly younger brother, Colossus, who we are meeting right now alongside Andrew, who is the chairman of this museum. Andrew, could you just quickly take us through to the layman like me, what's the difference between bomb and Colossus?
So the bomb was used to break the Enigma codes. It was what we call an electromechanical machine. It had motors that were spinning drums that contained relays and switches. And so it was limited by the speed at which those drums could turn. Colossus is electronic. It uses circuits built of things called valves, equivalent to what used to be what we now use transistors for. And it works at the speed of light. And so it could solve the Lorentz codes, which are much more complicated.
And why use this crowdfunding technique?
As a museum, we don't have state funding. We rely on selling tickets and donations from the public. We like the public to get involved in our projects, and crowdfunding is a great way to get people to support bringing the bomb into our museum.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for introducing us to Colossus. We look forward to meeting BOM, and now I guess it's just back to you guys in the studio.
It is indeed. Graham, gentlemen, thank you very much for that.
Graham there with just one example of how crowdfunding is being used in this region.